All right, so have you seen in the news lately or read Facebook, you find statements like, wow, the immigrants, they're coming to America. Someone go down and shoot them. Or how many incendiary comments do you see on social media? We argue about everything that comes across. We live in a divided and passionate time right now. Not more than any time, probably not any less or more than before. It's just more readily available because of social media, because of instant access to these things. We've always had that, but where does it come from? Why do we have to argue about everything? If you enjoy watching the news or watching TV, listening to the radio for more than 7 minutes, you will hear 6 of those minutes being attack ads from the blue guys attacking the red guys and the colored, multicolored guys attacking the other 2 guys. And it doesn't matter because they're the bad guys and we're the good guys. I watched some people the other day on one of the morning talk shows, news things on Sunday, say, you know what, we need a better tone. You should straighten up. I thought, that's the way to start that conversation. Accuse the other guy of being the problem. We should all look inside, starting with you. Please look in the mirror. And that was kind of the tone. Yes, I understand. I think we should too. So you do it too. And now we get an argument about who should be the first one to look inside of each other. So what I want to talk to you about today in a short time is what we call the rule of harmony. And this can be applied to any organization or individual. It's about creating a more peaceful society, to be cliché-ish and a little cheesy. But it's also about applying a simple rule that can be taken and looked at interpersonally to create better relationships. Better relationships equal better working. So here's the rule of harmony. It's very simple. Well, let's begin with this. What actually is harmony? Think about that for a moment. Harmony comes from the Greek word harmonia. It means to join or align in agreement. To join or align in agreement. That's all it means. It's got nothing to do with climbing to a mountaintop, crossing your legs and going, That is not harmony. Harmony has nothing to do with bringing change. It's taking note A and note B, aligning them in agreement to make music. It's not saying, hey, high note, change to become a low note. No. It's saying, I will put you here because that's where you best fit within my composition. That's what I want. Sometimes some notes don't fit. I got to find a different song for them. I got to find somewhere else. So when we talk about harmony within people, we're talking about joining in agreement. We're not talking about asking someone to change who they are. So the rule of harmony is pretty simple. Number 1, it's R. It's take responsibility. Take responsibility. That's where you begin. Take individual and personal responsibility. And in a personal way, how about taking responsibility for our own core values? And understanding what those core values are. Take responsibility for our own biases and prejudices and owning those. Yep, it's always the other guy's fault. I understand that. Okay, well, it's 95% their fault. Maybe not 100% because none of us are arrogant enough to say it's 100% their fault. It's a little bit our fault. So let's own that piece. I recently had the opportunity to work at Valley Fair for the Valley Scare. The company I work with was running security out there. After their interesting event they had the first time, they realized we don't have enough security and it's failing, so we should bring more in. So they brought our company in to help assist. And I was at the metal lines and I watched a bunch of personal bias play out as we did metal detection. So here's our metal detector. People are walking in lines, and here's our security guard standing there. And the families are coming in and people are coming in. And if the metal detector goes off, we have to wand them down, double check to make sure they're not carrying anything into the park. Metal detector goes off and see if it's suburban white mom. She comes in, she goes, ha, I got a belt buckle on. And our security guard goes, yeah, you do, bye. And that's all they get. And of course, if our poor African American, or God forbid Middle Eastern or Somali person comes in with hijab and that thing goes off, you are getting a full body cavity search almost. It is a sad thing to watch, where little mom comes in and gets the smile and the nod and off you go. In fact, you don't even get a full wand. And I had to pull our security guard and say, hey, you know, mom's conceal and carry quite a bit. You didn't even wand the back of her belt, nor did you wand her hip or her belt or her boots. You just let her walk on past because she said she had a belt buckle on. But yet, the poor lady with hijab, who's got no metal anywhere on her entire body, gets the entire wand treatment for the next 3 minutes, it feels like. See, that's failing to take personal responsibility for an own bias. When we understand our own biases, it's easy for us to move on to number 2. You seek to understand. Stephen Covey in his book said, seek to understand before being understood. And it goes to a lot of different places. And in personal relationships, to avoid these arguments, how about we try to understand the other person's core values? Or even understand the difference between a core value, which is our center, and maybe outside of that we'll call them methodologies. How about our likes and dislikes, our interests, our activities and hobbies? Did you know the most segregated time in the United States of America is a Sunday morning? Think about that for a second. The group who says, yes, we're about unity and togetherness, they can't even go to church together. Because, see, all these different groups split off and go to their different little group sections. The most segregated time in America is Sunday morning, about 11 o'clock. Because sometimes we focus on not the core, but we focus on other parts of that circle. Oh, well, you don't like this, and I do, and you're bad. But see, that's not a core value. Now, there are some things we need to draw the line on. You do not put fruit on pizza. Pineapple should never, ever go on pizza. That's a core value. And if you do that, those people should be sent somewhere to jail. Now, see, those are core values. Those are the important things in life. Oreos should only come in one flavor. There should never be a second flavor to the Oreo. It is wrong. But see, those are core values. But then you get other stuff like, but what happens is when we talk about the red guys and the blue guys again, is that they don't look at each other's core values. Yes, we want to help you. What they do is they argue about methodology. And they turn that methodology into a personal attack. Or worse, it becomes they focus on an interest or a like. Well, I don't like that and you like that, so let's fight about it. And that's dumb. How about we agree that we might have a different methodology, but our core values are the same? Back in 1966, the year I was born, you can do the math to figure out that I'm an old guy, but there was an old camp song, and it had great words. And it said this. Right in the middle of harmony it says, we will work with each other, we will work side by side, and we'll guard each man's dignity and protect each man's pride. See, it's an old cheesy song, but think about those words for a minute. How often, when you're dealing with somebody that's different than you, do you think, you know what? Yeah, they're different, but I'm still going to work on protecting that person's dignity and that person's pride. I'm going to work with that person side by side to accomplish something. But I can't do that if I don't understand them. So I need to seek to understand where they're coming from. And when I understand and break through, we might find our core is much closer than we think. And those methodologies and likes and dislikes, that's the problem. But we can get over that. Take responsibility and seek to understand. L, be a learner. Figure out what you have to learn. On a larger scope, maybe you want to accomplish something. Maybe you want to accomplish, I don't know how to do that. Well, learn about it. The library is full of books. You can learn. And if you continue to learn, you'll have better understanding. How about you take the time to learn why this person thinks the way they do? Have you learned about other cultures? When you disagree with another culture, have you found out why? Take the great barbecue debate. Why do the people in Texas think that mesquite wood is better than hickory wood? And why do the people in Kansas City think that mesquite wood is the worst thing in the world? Where does this all come from and how did this argument begin? Well, if you learn the history of these things, you will learn that when you did barbecue in Texas, and where brisket, kind of this big thing was, where did it come from? It was a whole bunch of poor people that couldn't afford meat. And the rich people threw the brisket out because no one could cook it. And they go, we know how to cook this stuff. That's easy. Well, what do? We need some wood. What do you got? Well, gosh, it's Texas. We got nothing. We got 1 million mesquite trees. Let's use one of that. Therefore, it's mesquite. Well, they don't have mesquite trees in Kansas City. They can't use that. But over time, that's what happened. When we begin to learn why someone believes what they believe, who they are, then we understand them. When we understand that and we learn that, it's not so bad as we begin to push off and take some of that personal responsibility. And finally, it's E. Let's stay engaged. engagement. No, I'm not talking about social media engagement. It is not about running to your Facebook page or your Twitter account or your Instagram and see how many engagements you have. Of course, if you're doing business, that's important to us, and Fabian's going to help us with that by giving us cool images and stuff. But that's not the engagement I'm talking about. I'm talking about personal engaging with people. Staying connected. Working through the problem. Staying engaged from start to finish. Stay engaged. See, when you stay engaged, you work through problems. And when we're engaged together, we get more stuff done. One of the best ways to get engaged is find a cause you care about. Then look for the other guys who you disagree with that care about the same cause, and be engaged in a process. If you have a problem with this, but you both agree this is a solution, find one thing you can do together and stay engaged with it until the end. You'll probably make some new friends along the way. See, that's what it means to be in harmony. It doesn't mean to change. No one's asking you to become different. It simply means look for a way to come in alignment. From a personal level, we can do that in interpersonal relationships. From an organizational level, we become more productive. From a company level, we get more success. Take responsibility. Seek to understand. Continue to learn and stay engaged. That is the rule of harmony. As cheesy as it sounds, when those things happen, our society gets a little better, our crime goes down a little bit, and our businesses come up a little bit. At the end, it's all a good thing. That's what I do. I talk to people about a lot of different things, and one of them is harmony. Thanks for listening.